Since its release late last year, Chamber has secured a spot in Valorant's ever-changing meta.
Yampi's gonna clutch it yet again, but if anyone's gonna clutch these! Oh my God!
Plenty of Jett players have made the switch to the French agent on certain maps, and he's even given Sentinel players an excuse to pick up the op and frag out. Now that Chamber has become a mainstay in pro Valorant, Fracture has become one of his best maps. But there aren't many good guides out there for him.
Yeah, basically I put it here.
A gift.
A TP.
Amen.
And then now I can, when this is going off, I know they're coming. Oh shit, I put it too far back. I was trying to explain. I put it too far back. You gotta put it close. Ah! F this shit, I'm not explaining shit no more.
So we've decided to show you some essential Fracture setups that will impress your friends and maybe even help you rank up. Niall helped create this list, so here are 7 of his favorite Chamber setups for Fracture. All right, so to start things off, let's take a look at some setups for the defender side. Now, when the round starts, you might want to place one of your rendezvous in spawn. This allows you to set up your utility on one site, but still make it back to the other side of the map before the round starts. There is nothing worse than hearing the clock tick down and you're not ready. That shit stresses me out. All right, so let's get started on A.
Rossi from the corner, after trying to push Tom out of this position, but he stayed alive so successfully with their own utility. Now a corner, that's gonna be good for Aleka. We're down the corner though for 3 off the tour. Still 2 more shots to play off of it. Even catches Neon on the boost from what was going to be a showstopper play, and then the ace!
There are 2 main choke points on A site. On one side you have drop and on the other you have A main. You can place Chamber's trademarks on this ramp here to cover drop, but it's a good idea to change it up round to round. Sometimes placing it in the other corner or even up on this ledge is a good idea too. You always want to keep the enemies guessing, so try not to use the same spots over and over. In A main, you can place a trademark beside this box to force enemies to clear the angle while you peek out and kill them. The only downside of this spot is that if your opponents get control of drop, then they can shoot it, so you can also move to the right. Enemies walking through A main will see it sooner, but again, it's good to keep them guessing. Now, if you're playing on A site, you might have a death wish, but if you're planning on hanging around on the site, make sure you have your second anchor point set before the round starts. Or you can be a Chad like Ye.
And they also have Victor with these paint shells right here at Sand.
Oh no! Absolute catastrophe as Ye finds perfect timing with the quarter force and annihilates the entire team, secures the ace.
Placing one rendezvous on site and the other over here in spawn will help you escape and regroup with your team for the retake. But if you're feeling risky, then you can place the second one in A main or near dish to go for an early pick.
Coming on A.
Oh, there's one.
Out.
Got sand?
On left side.
Yeah, one sand.
I think this is it.
Oh! Whoa, where are you?
I was there.
No!
You not see that trade?
That was...
Now let's move over to B site. On B, the 2 main choke points that you have to worry about are B main and arcade. So here are some trademark options for both spots. This obvious spot for B main is on the ground here, but it's not a bad idea to move it on top of this box once in a while. Sometimes the elevation change is enough to throw off your opponents and catch them off guard. But if the enemy is using a Viper wall to work their way onto site, then we recommend moving this trademark further back so you still get some value from it. Over on the arcade side is where things get a little weird because you really can't place a good trademark before the barriers go down. We suggest waiting until the round starts and quickly placing one beside this box if you're playing lower. If you're playing B link or B generator, then you can take a few steps forward and place one here. Lastly, let's take a look at some B-site rendezvous locations. A good spot for your first anchor point is here in B-Link. You don't want to place it too far into the corner because if somehow the attackers flank you through spawn, well, you're fucked. So try to place one rendezvous here and the other up in tower. This allows you to peek arcade or B main and TP out if you need to.
We go 1 for 1 across the map, so no harm. No foul, but this is a big round for Exet. They need to try and find a way to win this one, and the angle is going to be cleared.
Oh, we good, baby. We good. Hit that shit, kid.
What? God damn!
What
the that?
Yeah, what the f was that? I didn't even see that guy.
If you're feeling spicy, you can also drop one up here on Gen. This spot is usually good for a couple kills each game. Aside from that, you can also place a rendezvous B main or arcade and go for an early pick if you're really feeling it. Okay, so next up is defender side spawn. You can place one of his rendezvous here in B link and the other one beside these boxes. This allows you to quickly rotate to and from either site to help your team. It's a good idea to sometimes move it over here to help watch sand too. All right, so now let's take a look at the attacker side. Let's start out with Chamber's trademarks here because you really don't need to move them around as much on attack. As soon as you spawn in, place one of them on this box here. This covers opponents flanking from any direction. Once they eventually trigger it, then move it down here just to change things up. Your second trademark can go on the other side of the map on top of this box or in between this line on the ground here. This covers your flank from both sides and even if your opponents go across the zip line. Some agents like Jet or Omen can still make their way past without triggering the trademark, but honestly, if they pull that shit off, they deserve the kill. Anyways, let's move on to A site, and more specifically, attacking from dish side. When attacking dish, try placing one rendezvous here and the other over here right when the barrier goes down. This allows you to peek dish, get a pick, and then TP away to safety without the risk of getting shot in the back from a flanking opponent. If you get a pick and take control of dish, then you can recall both rendezvous and place them close to drop before your team fully executes on site. Now, let's take a look at attacking from A hall.
So version 1, we're going to have to largely set up this post-plant retake from mid, and then eventually you have to hope that if he can come back through B-Dog response with elimination of his zone, flashes will allow version 1 to keep the trade alive, and here comes the take.
Yeah, it's not working out there from that push from Sanson. And the DPS is getting stolen.
Whoa!
My goodness, what is that from B-Dog? And Ace, I don't know what's going on.
If you plan on peeking halls as soon as the round starts, then we recommend placing one of your rendezvous back here in spawn and the second one near the barrier. If you have support from your teammates or you're feeling like a badass, you can wait until the round starts and place your rendezvous further up. This allows you to peek on site while having the safety of your teleport to fall back on. Lastly, let's look at B site on attack.
Oh, it's a beautiful aftershock. Denies the plant, it forces Zoms to swing out, and it sets up Penny for the pick. Once more holding the angle, Shaz wins it out! 2 kills for him, what are you doing?
When attacking through B main, try placing some rendezvous nearby to take an aggressive peek and get out safely when needed. But a lot of times you'll probably take space alongside your teammates and place them closer to site to help get the bomb down. From here, you can fight enemies who are peeking from B link, canteen, or tower, but most importantly, you can escape if your teammates start feeding. Just keep in mind that enemies can flank through B tunnel, so try not to TP into their waiting arms. The final setup we're going to look at is for arcade. Similar to dish side, you can place a rendezvous near this box here and the other one close to the barrier when it drops. This allows you to take map control near arcade and peek tower while still giving yourself a way out if the opponents see you. If you want to get a little more risky, then you can place one TP near the barrier and hang on to the second one until you take more space in arcade. Just remember, if you get caught out without placing your second rendezvous, you might be in trouble. Or you could just, click heads.
And I wonder if that's what the setup was. Dep with the peak. But no, the hit's over B.
Oh, the double! Oh, that's massive! The Tour de Force gets 2 big kills! And he's back to safety too!
All right, folks, that's our list. If you want to see more chamber content or even more setups for other agents, let us know down in the comment section below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. So I need to drink my giant coffee. Did you see this?
Oh yeah. It's actually massive.
It's 32 ounces, right? It's huge.
Looks like something you have soup out of.
You literally do have soup out of this. Like, it is a soup container. And they're like, what? They will put lemonade in this. This isn't just iced coffee. They will put everything in this.